Bitcoin is pumping, but I'm not buying. Again, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, and I think it's the people's money, decentralized, separation of finances and the state is a must, just like separation of religion and state. However, I think that the Titanic is sinking. Let me say that again. I think the Titanic is sinking and everyone's dancing and drinking, right? And the dancing and drinking means the Bitcoin party, the stock market party, the things going up party. Because as the ship sinks, we want to fool ourselves. We want to deny ourselves. We want to be in denial. It's just a coping mechanism that our brain uses to deal with high stress or the high reality of what's happening. And that's why I'm not a Bitcoin buyer at this time. Even though Bitcoin is pumping and the thing's going to pump, but I think that this is the wrong time for me, not financial advice, for me to be into Bitcoin because the world is literally melting down. The Titanic is melting. The world power is shifting. The petrodollar is dying, and it's very, very rough times because we're in a World War III. And I think that this is just a distraction move, just like the stock market, just like other stuff. These are just distraction moves to get us off of what's really happening with the kinetic energy happening in the Middle East, the kinetic energy happening in Europe, and what's coming down our pipeline, which hyperinflation hitting our door, real estate market crashing, and the petrodollar dying, okay? So when you add all this stuff up together, this is why I'm not a fan of Bitcoin right now, because I believe that Bitcoin is going to come down significantly, okay? Just like I believe the stock market is going to come down significantly, just like I believe that the real estate market is going to come down significantly. And so even though it's pumping, I don't think it's justified, right? And the markets are not sane, right? Same thing is, happening in the stock market, same thing is happening with so many different things. Just because everyone has become a fool and, is buying the music and the drinks doesn't mean that I have to be on the same ship. Now, again, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, and it's amazing that it's pumping and all that good stuff. I just think that, it's the wrong time for that type of transaction, in a sense, because literally the world is melting right in front of our eyes. If you're watching the legacy media, there surely is not portraying it to you, but we're having a deep depression happen for the people in America and people all over the world, I should say. We're having hyperinflation in many, 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 many countries, and it's coming home to roost here, to nest here in America. And I think that instead of Bitcoin or instead of the stock market, I think that people should be, prepping, right? Versus that, because at this current event in our lives, prepping is going to have more value than, let's say, Bitcoin, right? Because what's going on? I mean, you're having shortages of supplies. Okay, the countries that are making our supplies, we have tariffed them, we have sanctioned them, and so on. Okay, the other countries that provide our commodities, we have cut them off, we have sanctioned them, we've stole their money, etc. Okay, and so we're in a situation where it's not about the second layer anymore; it's all about the first layer. And Bitcoin is a second layer, right? Technology. What is the second layer? Is the money printing? Is the Swiss banking system. These are second layers, and those second layers are very, very important when we have a stable world. But we don't have a stable world anymore, and now the first layer is the most important. The commodities, the rice, the oil, the gas, the bananas, the coffee, the stuff you actually need to survive. And unfortunately, we don't have that much of that stuff here in America because of rules, laws, profits, because corporations make more profits if they export that stuff out. So we're sitting on our hands, and the only thing that's pumping is secondary layer stuff like stock markets and Bitcoin. So that's why I'm not buying Bitcoin today. Sure, I could make some money on it, but however, I think the risk for me compared to the reward is very little. This is not the last pump where we're in it sitting very cushy. The government's giving out free money. Everyone has money, etc. I just did a poll on my website, and 75% of the Americans that have voted in my poll saying they have less money and they're suffering. 75%, okay, out of the poll. Only 25% said they're making more money than before, okay? So 75% are suffering. So if you take that and say, okay, this is the America that we live in, that 75% of Americans are having less money because of hyperinflation or inflation, or they got less job, or they got fired, or got less pay cut, or whatever the story is, they're making somehow less money. And if that's the scenario and everyone's just buying Bitcoin and it's pumping, it just shows you that things are tough and people are just trying to find a quick way to make some money, okay? And that's cool and dandy, but I think that we're in an era of not really making money. This is an era of, being a prepper. Unfortunately, being a prepper is gold now, right? In 2016, when I said gold was going to be the play and it was $1,100, today is over $2,100. Well, today I'm saying being a prepper is like what being gold was in 2016. If you don't have a bunch of rice, if you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have all the stuff to survive, well, that is the gold. That is the Bitcoin. That is the real estate boom. Now, there is definitely a real estate boom coming. As I'm driving around every day on my bicycle, I am seeing more and more houses for sale. Now, there's a chance that we're not all going to nuke ourselves, right? But there's also a big chance that we are going to nuke ourselves. But if you're in the camp that you think that there's a probability that we're not going to nuke ourselves, then real estate is a great opportunity, because as we're driving around, I'm seeing a lot of houses for sale, right? And interest rates are still high. People are struggling. People don't have money, and people have used their houses as ATM, right? And now the floor is going to fall down, right, in the real estate. Let me give you an example. I bought myself a brand new e-bike, right? And it cost me $5,000. I paid cash for it. Today, that same exact e-bike, they're selling it from the manufacturer for $1,000 less than what I paid for it, okay? So think about that. I paid $5,000 for my bike, and now they're selling a brand new bike for $4,000. So now I bought this bike and I want to go and now resell my bike. Well, right off the bat, I've already took $1,000 negative haircut because of the manufacturer dropping their prices, okay? Well, guess what's going to happen in real estate? The same exact thing. People bought houses. The builders are not going to be cutting their prices now, okay? As a home buyer, do you want to buy a home from a builder that's brand new with a 10-year warranty, or do you want to buy an old home from someone else that has been lived in, okay? Now, the thing you got to think about is that new home is cheaper than the old home, right? Plus, you get all the warranties, right? The other thing you have to think about is that old home, the people that live in there more than likely used their homes as ATM and took more and more money out of it. Now, that old home was, when they bought it, was already overpriced. But now that the market has dumped and the builders are lowering their prices, that old home is now even more negative equity than ever before, because when they bought it at the top of the market, which is already upside down. And now that the house prices are coming down, now that the builders are cutting their prices, then the old home price is going to be double upside down. Once, because they bought it at a higher price, and second is the prices are coming down. And the third reason it's going to be even more upside down is because most people have used their houses as an ATM. So when you add the three combination in there, where they use the house as an ATM, where the prices of homes are starting to come down, where the people that bought the houses had bought at top, you can see there's going to be a lot of sellers out there. They're going to be what I call motivated sellers, because their homes are going to have marginal, no equity, or negative equity. And any of those three combinations means that the seller will not be able to sell their home unless they come out big chunks of money out of their retirement, out of their savings, okay? And many sellers are not in that situation. So if you're in a camp that you think that the world is not going to end and you're interested in real estate, you may want to check out my profit sharing where I'll work with you to do one deal. You do the footwork. Go check it out at profitsharing.mrnofluff.com or go to myrealestatedojo.com and click on work with me. If you're interested in working with me on one-on-one, join my profit sharing and now. If you want to do it by yourself, I have all the self-help courses at My Real Estate Dojo, and I've reduced the prices for you guys to win because, in my opinion, the biggest opportunity to be a real estate investor is now, right? Assuming that Big Brother doesn't nuke us all, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out my site. Thanks for clicking the like button. Thanks for watching. And always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Grow me. Peace.